Hi everybody, welcome back. We're going to start with the little hand lesson, which is how the hand stitching lesson, which is how to make a teeny, 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 tiny circle. And I'm talking really tiny. And in the second half, we will finish quilting the block, that we did before. So I have, just to let you know, I have this marked up. Pretend you don't see the dark marks, and I have started quilting it. Alrighty, here's the piece that I have. There's my background piece, and I'm using a piece of batik for the little dot. I've threaded my hand needle right here with just a 60 weight thread. Actually, no, I take that back. I've used YLI 100 silk. You want to use a nice thin thread for this, but it's got to be nice and strong because you're going to be doing a lot of pulling. So we're going to draw a circle. I'm going to take this friction pen and I'm going to draw a little circle. I'll try to get it round. That tiny. As a reference, it's going to end up to be about 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, I don't have the right scissors, but it's okay. You also want a pair of scissors that's sharp to the very tip. Okay. Alright, this is so tidy. We're not going to pre-turn this. I want to get that as close as I can. I'm going to just fold this on one end because I don't want to see any of that black. That's why you can use pencil. I'm going to put I knotted the end of the thread, and I'm just putting it in the fold. Okay. And I'm going to start to stitch it. So I've got it folded. Let's turn this so you can see better. There it is. It is tiny. It's even hard to hold on to. Okay, but it can be done. And this again, this is in is in that needle turn, Perfecting Needle Turn by Lucien Newman book. Okay, I'm going to start to stitch it. And as I start to turn it, and I'm not going to worry about it if it's got too many little divots and stuff, you know, angles. Okay, I'm going to just start to stitch it, and I know what I need to do. Here's part of the problem. Wrong glasses. There it is. I can see it. Yay. Seeing's highly overrated. Okay, and I'm turning it as much as I can, and I'm getting about 1/4 of the way around. I'm not worried about if I don't have a lot of the stitches in there. They're kind of farther apart. Okay, now I'm going to take one more stitch just to anchor this edge down a little bit. Okay. Then I'm going to open this up right here. And this is where it helps to have nice sharp scissors to the point. I'm going to cut all this stuff out. Right up to the stitching line, if I can. It's already sewn, so it's not going anywhere. Don't cut your threads. Okay, now that gets rid of the bulk that's underneath. Like I said, you got to be careful not to cut your sewing thread because it's real easy to do. And continue on some more. And you just keep going around. And I'm not worried about this if it's angular or not. it can be square for all I care. Okay. I'm just going to, now, since I've got it out of one side, I may need to do a little more clipping. If I need to clip, then I just reach in and dig some more out. These scissors will work better. Okay. I'm already over halfway done. Okay, dig this in. A couple of stitches. And now I'm coming around to the end. I'm just going to shove that in there. If this is too short, just get a stronger pin like these and just cram it in there. Loose thread there. There. And I'm going to finish closing it up. I just went through the knot. Whoops. So I'll stuff the knot under there. Well, actually, I don't care if the knot's there because we're going to sew it so many times. And we've sewn it so hard already, I don't care if that knot's there or not. I'm going to just cut it out. Oh, almost cut my thread. Okay. Okay. It's a little on the rough side. That's okay. So now we're going to go in and I'm going to start to get, I'm going to go around again. Actually, I'm not going to go around again. Do you remember when we talked about the corner technique last week where we talked about the Chinese, called the Chinese weaver, where we just wove in and out? We're going to do the same thing here. So I have a little point there, so I'm going to go across. So I'm going across the circle to the other side. Pull it in. Okay, I've got another little notch right here where it's stuck out. So just go on the other side of that. Go all the way through. This is very dense fabric. And I'm just going straight through the middle. And I didn't get a thimble. Usually we'll use a thimble for this because it's going to take a little bit of force to go through. Okay. Then when I pull, see now that pulled that edge in. So now I'm going to weave it to this side where I have another point. And sort of in between I think I took about maybe 6 stitches to get around the circle. So I'm taking another 4 stitches to sort of fill in. I'm going straight across. See how I'm going straight across the circle? And then when I pull it, pulls it in tighter and even smaller. Okay, went across again. Okay, and then I think it's as round as there's still one, oh, that's the little piece of thread that I pulled through there. Okay, I'll do one more to tack that in. So I'm going to go down, come up, because that little thread that is missed is right here. And I come down across again, because I want to trap that thread. Going across again, pull it nice and tight, and then I'm going to go underneath of it and tie a knot. There, just make a little knot. And that's the end of that. Okay, and I usually bury the knot underneath the thread, the fabric, the background fabric, and clip it off. Okay. That is one tiny little hole, tiny little, it was that same thread that I pulled up from the bottom. There, took it off. That was the knot that was showing through, but look how tiny that circle is. That is itty bitty. But you, with a little practice, you can do that, because really it didn't take that much practice, because I haven't done this in a few years. But now you've got this tiniest of little dots. I'm not sure where I'd use such a tiny dot, because it almost looks like a French knot with embroidery thread, but it isn't. This is a turned little tiny circle. Okay, we'll talk about this now, which is the block. Okay, now traditional Hawaiian quilting, it's usually a huge block that's virtually, this one block would be the whole size of the quilt. But I like to do it, I did a sampler instead, and I've marked it up in dark. Okay, so I put my quilt sandwich together, and it's just a batting in the front, and I've spray basted it together. Although you don't have to. When it's small like this, you don't have to baste it. You could hand baste it, but you know how I don't want to hand baste anything. And I've made some marks on this because of what I'm planning to quilt. So I'm going to echo quilt. And I did start this last time. And where you see it black is actually, it's just a friction pen. It'll go away. As soon as I press this, it'll go away and we'll be just fine. So I started here. Okay, and what I did is I used my walking foot, the edge of my walking foot right along here, and I followed it along. So what I did was I changed to the walking foot. You can get a lot of quilting done with a walking foot. You do not have to, you'll be a lot of turning. So a big quilt is a little hard to do with the walking foot if you're going to do a big Hawaiian quilt, you know, say quilt size. It can be done. Echo quilting is where I have problems. I love to free motion quilt, but I am no daggone good at echo quilting. And I know you can take your design to your, what do you call it? The Solaris or the Brother Luminaire. And you can, it's already got something in there to do the echo quilting for you. However, that only works if you embroider it in. It doesn't work very well to do regular echo quilting on a normal quilt. Because you have to echo the design and you'd have to draw all that in through IQ Designer, and it would take a lot of time. This would be easier just with your walking foot. So I started here. And I did a 1/4 of an inch. I went down here, and I came back up. Literally what I did was this. Here, I'll unthread the needle so it won't. So what I did was I'm going to take this completely out. So I came here. I put my stitch length at about 3. I want it a little bit longer. When you're using your walking foot to do this kind of echo quilting, or just you can do it for stitch in the ditch, whatever, then what you have a regulated stitch because you're using your feed dogs. You want to use a walking foot, or if you have the Janome and a couple of other models, it has the walking foot built into the back of the machine and you just lower it down. If you have the Luminaire, Destiny, Dream Machine, Luminaire, or Solaris, they have the, the digital dual feed. You could use it for that and use the open toe position. Now the problem I have with that particular foot is that particular foot is very wide. So you would have to have some kind of guide that you're going to use. So I came stitching here. I'll just hold it out of the way. Well, heck, I'll just thread it later. There we go. Take it completely out. That's getting annoying here. I'll just thread it again. This is not that bad to thread. Okay. And come here. Pivot. Come down here. Went down the middle. Raised the presser foot, turned it the other way, and came up. These pins in the way. And went up the other side. Okay. Now, what I have, why did I cut that? I didn't need to. I didn't have any thread. Duh. Okay, when I came to here, okay, which meant I went all the way around, and I come back here. I just put sort of where I stopped it, and then I went to do the next layer, and then I used this as a guide to continue. Now, the further out you get, you want these points to where it makes like these shield things. You want those to be in alignment. So what I did is I took a friction pen and just extended that point out so that I knew where to turn. And I did that over here. You don't have to do that. Although you could do it by just taking something and creasing. You know, you can take like a pair of scissors or a pin and just draw your crease in. You know, like you can usually see that and it'll press out. You don't have to draw it. I did it dark. I wouldn't recommend always doing it dark, simply because, you know, so you could see it on camera. So I would. Let's see, I started over here, and so now I'm just going to thread this back up. So I won't whine about threading the machine. It's not the end of the world. This part is, though. There we go. Just even though I'm using the walking foot, I'm going to bring my threads up as if I was doing free motion. So you would put your needle down, needle up, pull your bobbin threads up, hold them out of the way and keep them still. Okay, when you start a stitch with the walking foot, you can drop your stitch length to 0. Give it a couple of stitches, then bring it back up to 3 and just continue on. And see, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of pivoting. And see, this is helpful to have that line drawn in, because now I know where to pivot and there's no guessing. Like over here I am guessing. I could have drawn another pivot, but that's not as important. And this actually goes pretty fast. Now I'm using the plain white thread. And just keep maybe 2 rows a little long. Finish this round and show you how we would just go up on the next one. So I mean, you get the idea here. what's nice if you have the newer machines with the auto lift, which, you know, you put it on pivot, those are nice because what it does is it drops the needle in the down position and raises that presser foot for you. Oop, I went too far. When you go too far back, you just, with the machine, you just back it up. I'll just come up to this one and then I'll finish up here. And then I'll press this and you'll see how lovely it is. And then to finish, I'll just pretend it's finished. You just sit there and hold, either set this back to 0, set your stitch length back to 0, give it about 3 stitches, and then bring your bobbin thread up. How you bring your bobbin thread up is you bring your fabric forward, hold on to your thread, put it back in the same spot, take 1 stitch, and why are we locked? There we go. I can't bring up my bobbin thread. So there we go. Well, what happened to my bobbin thread? Well, I'm just going to cut it for now. It's supposed to come up. Let me try that again. What on earth? Something's jammed in here. Don't you love sewing machines? No, I don't. Oh, I'm good at this, I'm telling you. There we go. I don't know what happened. I'll put that back in there. But you get the idea. So now, when you hit this with an iron, I'll just do in the part that I did, the words. Now, when you're going around and around, you're eventually going to end up off the fabric. And that's okay. Just sort of come off and then just keep going on again. Or like you've got your margins in here, so as it approaches here and here, when you can't get a full point, just come over here until you can. So a lot of times those points will get so tight you just sort of shallow them out. In the middle, I haven't decided what I want to do in here. Let me just get rid of that. I don't want that there. Here's the part that I did where I have 3 rounds. And so if I hit that, that's why I love friction pens, because they go away. See, the marks are gone. It looks awesome. And if you can see that. See that? Now once the marks are gone, it's absolutely beautiful. Traditionally, Hawaiian quilting doesn't usually have quilting inside the motif. Wait a minute. There we go. Usually you don't have quilting going on inside the motif. If you do, it's going to be an echo inside the motif too. But it'll be fewer ones. You usually will almost never see anything more than one just about 1/4 inch inside. Now you could also come up the center and put in veins of a leaf if you like, or come up through the center and the outside, but you're going to do minimum on the inside of the motif. Inside here, I don't know what I'm going to do inside the square yet. I'll sort of decide. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? You guys if I don't see you till the week after Thanksgiving, you have a great Thanksgiving. Stay safe, stay healthy, and eat an extra piece of pie for me. Okay, so I will see you guys later. Until next time, bye.